Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Ready to go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matthew Bowles. I'm a member of the Architecture Review Board. I will be moderating this meeting tonight on behalf of the chairperson, Marge Crowley. I'm starting with the charge of the board. The Board of Architecture Review is charged with the duty of maintaining the desirable character of the village and shall approve any construction and/or alteration that conforms to the following criteria. The proposed construction or alterations are harmonious, compatible, and balanced in relation to the site, adjoining properties, and neighborhood because of mass, style, design, scale, placement upon the property in relation to adjoining buildings, streetscapes, and open space, materials, details, lines and continuity of windows and doors, color, landscaping and plantings, lighting and sound, and also would not result in or have a tendency to result in an impairment of property values in the immediate neighborhood to the proposed location. So tonight's meeting, we are starting with a change request for 26 Oak Meadow Lane. We had previously seen this application and we had received a letter from Glenn Graham, and the letter says, "Dear Ms. Bono, please find the enclosed request for a roof line change from mansard to shed design. All materials presented to the ARB will remain the same. Kindly advise if this change can be done administratively or require a new ARB." So this, I believe that we had decided that this could be done administratively, and all board members should now have what we previously approved and what is now proposed. It's a very minor change to the roof line of a small addition that was being added to the rear of the home. Is there anyone here representing this project at 26 Oak Meadow Lane?
No one.
Okay, do any of the board members have any questions regarding this?
No.
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 Okay, so Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the change as presented to us. Anyone second?
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Seeing no nays, this project is approved. I'm sorry, this change is approved. The next application on the agenda tonight is the application for 6/8 Circuit Road. Do we have representatives for 6/8 Circuit Road?
Yes, Mark and Gary from Gary Canella Associates.
Okay. So this project, Colin Stokes, 6/8 Circuit Road, Bellport, New York, seeks to convert an existing sunroom to habitable space and add a 66 square foot rear addition to the 6th Circuit Court address. The siding will be white vinyl to match the existing white vinyl siding. The trim will be white AZAC. The roofing material will match the existing black asphalt shingles. The shutters will be black to match the existing, and the windows will be Anderson white double hung. Additionally, Mr. Stokes is seeking to add a 115 square foot addition to the front of 8 Circuit Road and construct a wood deck on the side of the dwelling. The siding will be white vinyl siding. The roof will match the existing light gray asphalt shingles. The trim will be wood painted black to match the existing trim. The front will have shutters which are black composite material, and the windows will be Anderson white double hung. This property is located in the B resident district of the Suffolk tax map as noted in the public hearing. So just as a reminder to the board members, this is a project that has 2 dwellings on the same property, but they each have their own number. So Mark or Gary, would you like to just quickly go over the project and give us an overview of the project once again, please?
Mark will take it.
Yes, on 6th Circuit Road, we're looking to just, as Matthew had said, put a 66 one-story square foot addition, which would be a bathroom. And then on number 8, it's also a one-story addition to the front. We're just expanding the bedrooms inside and also the living room. All the materials will match all the existing stuff.
Okay, and during the work session, we had requested a more detailed landscape plan, which I believe you have provided to us.
Yes, we are putting shrubbery, evergreen plantings around the number 8 circuit court in the front and along the side, a little bit on the side when we're taking out a garage door.
Okay, and I noticed on also one of the topics that we discussed in
Oh, it's the
the
driveway.
the other topic that we discussed was the driveway, and it looks as though you have narrowed that down to just cover the 1 garage doors versus the 2 garage doors.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I just want to clarify a couple points. So for the, I think it's the 6th Circuit Court is the one in the back.
No, that's 8.
8. Okay, so for 8, you're adding to the front of the dwelling. Are you keeping the existing door?
Where the door that's there is, we're gonna try to match that, the front door of that to the front door that, or the side door of the sunroom of the 6th Circuit Court, 6th Circuit Drive.
Okay, so what is that door gonna, how is it gonna be the 8 panels like it shows in the drawing?
Yeah, that's exactly what they have now. They're going to take it out of the front and we're going to reuse it in the back there.
Okay, but what's gonna replace it in the front?
Oh, we're in the front of the sunroom. We're just putting 2 windows. There was a door there. We're taking that door out and relocating it into the back.
No.
Putting it at 8 Circuit Court, Circuit Road.
Okay, so the dwelling in the rear of the property. You are expanding the front entry, correct?
Correct.
Is the existing door for that going to remain?
No, it's just gonna be, that's coming out and we're just gonna have like I said, it's just gonna expand the living room that's there now.
So Mary Lou, can you switch back to the previous drawing, please?
This one, Matt?
Yeah. So Mark, where it says proposed front elevation of the cottage,
Correct.
that's a new front,
Door.
correct?
Yes, that's the new front right there with the reverse gable. We're just pulling it out. The
Great.
existing house already has a reverse gable there, but we're pulling it forward and just keeping the same roof line.
Great. Now that door that exists there now, are you keeping that door there?
No, we're taking it, it's not with the same style as the other doors on 6th Circuit Road, so we're gonna to match that door, front door with what's at 6th Circuit.
Okay, and what's at 6th Circuit? Is it an 8-panel door?
Yeah, it's what they have that there now, correct.
Okay. The walkways aren't changing, correct?
No,
There's no new dormers, correct?
nope,
There are no columns being added.
no,
The only porch is the porch that you have proposed as the wood deck, correct?
on the side of the cottage, correct,
There are no cupolas, correct?
correct.
No skylights?
Well, there's a skylights that we're renovating the sunroom from a summertime usage only to a year-round usage. So we're going to put some skylights in that low roof.
Okay, and what are those skylights? What are they made of? Are they Anderson? Are they louvered? Are they fixed?
Well, they're fixed aluminum framed standard skylight. They're not operable.
Non-operable. Okay, so they're fixed.
Right.
Fixed aluminum. And what color are they going to be? Do you know, Mark?
I believe it would be the bronze, the dark bronze.
Okay. In the garage, you're eliminating the one garage door
Correct,
and you're making it the siding for basically match the rest of the house.
correct. We're redoing siding there on that house, yes.
Right. There are no fences on this project, correct?
Well, they're there, but we're not adding any fence work.
Very good. There are no new second stories, correct?
Excuse me?
There are no new second story
No.
dwellings?
Nope, nope,
The garage height is going to remain the same?
correct. Same with the main house, number 6.
The landscaping is going to be as per the plan that you presented, correct?
Correct,
There's no changing to the chimneys, correct?
correct. The only chimney we're taking out is on 6. There's a little, they're changing that over to a gas direct vent system, so we're taking that chimney off. It's
And-
only sticking out of that roof about 2 feet.
Mary Lou, can you give me the drawings for 6, please? So the chimney that you're showing at the peak is what you're removing, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
it's going to be a direct vent heating system for 6 circuits.
So you're removing the chimney on number 6. There's no pools, correct?
At the moment, no pools. That's at a later date.
And the foundation for the new addition is going to be poured concrete, natural in color, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Marge, do you have any questions for this project?
No, I don't.
Dorothy, do you have any questions for this project?
No.
Mike, do you have any questions for this project?
No, thank you.
Ron, do you have any questions or comments for this project?
No, I do not.
And I see Donna just joined us, so I'm going to give her a second to get up and running, and we'll just make sure that she doesn't have any questions or comments.
What I am going to ask the people who are attendees, if anybody would like to speak on this application, please use the chat feature or the question and answer feature now. If you do not use the question and answer or the chat feature, we will move on to what seems to be going to be a motion by the board. So I'll give about 15 seconds for anybody to use that feature before we move on.
Hi, Donna, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me is the question.
We can hear you, but we can't see you, and that's fine. If you want to just, oh, there you go. We got you now.
Great.
So Donna, we just reviewed 6-8 Circuit Court. There are
Yeah.
no real major changes from what we saw at the work session. They did provide us with a new landscape plan,
Yes.
and it does show the narrowing of the driveway to go just to the one garage door versus the
Yes.
2 existing garage doors currently.
Yes,
Do you have
Yeah.
any other questions for this project?
I have none. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I will open it up to the public. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak on this application, please use the chat feature that Deidre explained earlier. We will give you a couple seconds to indicate whether or not you have a question or concern, and then we will move on.
Doesn't look like we have anything, Matt, so we can move on with this one, but if anybody be aware for any of the next ones, same feature. So if you would like to speak on any application tonight while we're waiting for the other applications to happen, if you could please use the chat feature now and let me know which property you would like to speak during public comment so I can, because it looks like we got quite a few attendees, so I can keep track of everybody. So again, if anybody would like to speak on any application tonight, please use the chat or question and answer feature to let me know which application you're going to speak on. If I don't receive any, we'll move forward in the other hearings as well. I'm not going to make this announcement again.
Okay, so seeing that we have no public comment on this project, I will close the public portion of this particular project. Mike, Mark, or Gary, do you have any other comments or concerns for this project?
No. No,
Okay, so Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve this project as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Seeing no nays, this project is approved.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right. Just switch paperwork here. Our next project on the agenda is 14 Broadview. Do we have someone representing 14 Broadview in the audience?
I'm bringing them in right now.
Okay. Is it Anthony that's representing this project?
It's Anthony,
Yes,
Mary Anthony, yep, Mary Desmond, and Nathan King and Leland Richard.
Okay, we have everybody.
How's everyone doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. Nice to see everyone again.
Okay, we got everybody in, Mary Lou?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so this project is Leland, Richard, and Nathan King, 14 Broadview Avenue, Bellport, are seeking to construct a 1,244 square foot second-story addition to an existing single-story dwelling. The siding will be light gray hardy board. The roof will be black asphalt. The trim will be white AZAC. The windows will be Anderson windows double hung. This is a single-family dwelling located in an A residence district on the Suffolk County tax map as noted in the public notice. Okay, so who's going to speak on this project?
We're actually going to speak on the project, and then Anthony and Mary are welcome to chime in as well. I have a couple, sent a couple slides to Mary. I can pull that up on my screen, or you can pull that up on yours.
Go ahead, Nathan. I put it so you can share.
Great. Let me just pull this up now here. Let me know if everybody can see this okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. We put together a couple of slides to kind of go over the project and clarify some of the discussion points that were brought up during the working session. This is an aerial view of the property. We're actually down at the bottom of the center with the pool in the backyard. You can see some of the surrounding properties around us, as well as our situation in the village here. Yeah, as the letter talked about, we're an existing 1,244 square foot single story home, currently 2-bedroom, 1 bath. We're adding a second floor to accommodate our growing family, which you might hear a little bit of in the background. I apologize. When the project is all done, we're going to be 3-bed, 1 bath added on the second floor for a total of 4-bed, 2 bath. We're taking the existing footprint of the house and going straight up, so we'll be 2,488 square feet total after the construction. As everyone knows, we went through zoning and it was granted last month, and the landscaping around the house will remain unchanged. And there's probably some tree trimming that's going to happen in the backyard because it's close to the house. So this is the site plan, existing footprint. You can see Anthony has it shaded in the center here. And the proposed second floor would be right over the existing footprint. And the garage is existing too. A couple weeks ago when we looked at the project, it was an old photo when we first planted our vegetation around the house. These are limelight hydrangeas. As you can see, they are covering most of the front of the house, specifically that glass block window that we talked about. That was a kind of a sticking point of being out of place. Is completely covered, and it does provide natural light to the house, and that's something that we'd like to keep. Slightly different view of the house. You can see we currently have a gray board and batten siding on the house. Definitely in need of an update in terms of materials. Siding was probably a few decades old. This is the proposed house, showing what it's going to look like. I photoshopped vegetation back in there just so everyone can kind of get a sense for what we're doing. You know, as we talked about, we're going to have horizontal hardy plank siding. We have updated door. We have a couple of different options for that, some with glass, some without. And we added a light into the right above it, so it's lit as well. We do want to keep this door because it kind of did look a little strange without a door, even though it won't be a fully functional front door for us. One thing we did want to note, the AZEC trim, we've always had it in our drawing notes as being a teal color, not white. Just around the windows, as you can see, a couple detail colors. Second floor, we're going to have hardy board, vertical board, and batten siding. The color is going to be just a shade darker than what we have right now. It's going to be the night gray or pewter gray in color. And then the south balcony will be cantilevered. As Anthony mentioned in the last meeting, it's going to be mahogany with steel cable rails. Hardware is going to be, the posts are going to be black. Asphalt roof with exposed rafter tails. In terms of neighborhood fit, we do feel like the project fits in really well with the neighborhood. Across the street, we have a one-story house. It's modern, but it does have vertical gray board siding on the house, combined with gray board and batten siding. Two houses to our north, there's a two-story home, gray board and batten siding. Directly to our north, we have 12 Broadview Avenue. It's a two-story home. White horizontal siding with a vertical charcoal design here in the front behind the car. It's a little hard to see, but it kind of has like a ridged, vertical ridged siding on that front design element. Very nicely done. On Brookside Avenue, one street over, this was recently remodeled to a two-story home. Wigtail Lane has a lot of two-story homes. This one specifically I called out because it does have gray board and batten siding. And 7 Wigtail Lane has a very dark gray siding on there, just to give you a sense of what's around the neighborhood. The front view of the home from the street, this was the window on the right side, kind of by itself. This was seen as kind of a blank area, but it is covered by vegetation. We intend to remain keeping it covered in vegetation. The window does provide a lot of natural light to the kitchen, which is welcomed in the home. The other style of door that we're looking at is with the windows would be something like this, that you see at the bottom. And as we mentioned during the last meeting, Anthony recommended a gooseneck light above the front entrance, even though we use the driveway entrance much more. The south view, you can see the window style change to a casement style window with no grills, just so we have a clear view of the water from here. Adding some lantern style lights around the second floor balcony doors. On the north side elevation, this is alongside the driveway with the garage that you can see here. I loved Anthony's approach to having kind of like this metal style roof as the accent over the side entry door, because currently we get soaked when we're trying to unlock the door in the pouring rain. And then from the rear view, we're gonna have the same style covered entry over the rear patio doors as well. And here you can see the balcony again from this side. Garage is on the left. First floor plan. Any questions so far? Feel free to stop me.
Nope, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. First floor remained relatively unchanged. We're going to be dealing with taking one of these bedrooms and converting it to a smaller living room, TV room. Going to be taking that closet and either moving it over to the other room or just creating an open nook, open shelving on one side here. Opening up some of the walls on the inside just to have a more open layout in the house. And you can see the stairwell being added in the lower left corner in the existing sunroom. You can see on the top side over on the left side, you can see our patio doors on the left facing the backyard, and you can see our driveway entry, which we use as the main entry on the right side. into the kitchen. Second floor, master bedroom on the left. Going clockwise from there, we have a proposed bedroom. On the top of the drawing here, we have our bathroom below that. We have a laundry room on the second floor and a third proposed bedroom in the lower right. So we'll be able to have both children with us on the second floor, which was important for us.
Mhm.
So I think we, just to cover again some of the questions that were brought up last time. We have the glass block window in the front is going to be covered by vegetation. We'd prefer to keep it right now. And we're not in a position right now to start moving cabinets around in the living room. I'm sorry, cabinets around in the kitchen. The window is the only natural light from that side. We'd have to probably move appliances and cabinets, and we're not ready to remodel the kitchen. But when we are down the road, we will definitely take removing the glass block window and doing something else that lines up with the rest of the house into consideration at that time. We also discussed the front entrance door, the actual front door of the house.
Right.
We do want to keep it. I think, from the front facing view, I think the house would look a little weird without the front door, and we're going to keep it there for now. And at some point we might do something different, but for now we're going to keep the front door. But we did put the light there over top, which I think was a good suggestion. So.
Okay, so I'm just going to run through a couple things just to make sure that I have all the information correct. So the roof of the new addition is going to be black asphalt, and over the doors you're going to have the metal sheeting over with those overhangs, but no columns. They're all self-supporting, correct?
Correct.
And that's going to be over the side door, which is near the driveway, and over the rear new French doors, the rear French doors, correct?
Correct.
And then the siding is now going to be night gray hardy board, and it's going to change directions as indicated in the drawings.
Mhm.
Correct.
The trim is now, we had white AZAC, but it's actually going to be teal AZAC. Is that correct?
Yeah, just around the windows, as shown in this image here, matching on the front door, and maybe a little bit around the garage as like a accent color.
Okay. And the windows in the front of the house or the side that faces the street are going to be 2/2s, correct?
Anthony, can you confirm?
Yes, they are.
Okay. The windows on the south side are going to be single pane, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
The windows in the rear or the opposite of the street view are going to be so.
They're all 2/2.
And then the first floor windows are existing, correct?
Yes. Most of them, not all of them. Like the first floor windows on the south elevation, those are all new.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And that south side, everything is single pane.
Yes.
Okay. And then there are no windows on the north side. Is that correct?
There is on the
There's
second
two
floor.
small ones.
There's
Okay.
small awning windows.
Okay. And you're keeping those looking like a 2/2, but they're
Right.
really not. Okay, got it. All right. So the front door is existing, and it will remain in some fashion. In the rear, you will have the new French doors. Is that correct?
So we're actually replacing the front door. to put something else in place.
Okay, so,
Yeah, as far as what's indicated there.
Mhm.
And then the patio doors are definitely going to be new as well.
right, the patio doors being the doors in the rear, correct?
Yes.
Which are French doors.
Yep.
And what are the doors made of? Wood, aluminum?
The new doors.
Yes.
Anthony, do you have a recommendation for us on?
Yeah,
that?
there'll be wood.
And are they gonna be painted the teal like the rest of the trim you're proposing?
The front door is going to be teal. We actually have not made a decision about the back door. So we'd be open to that.
Okay, I'm just making the notes for what you're proposing, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. The driveway is existing and will remain, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
The walkways are existing and will remain.
Yes.
There are no dormers, no columns. There's a second floor balcony, correct?
Correct.
And what is the railing is going to be the stainless steel?
Yes.
And you said the material for the awning is going to be mahogany wood.
Correct.
Okay. There are no cupolas. There are no skylights. The garage is existing. There are no changes or fences proposed in this project. Do you know the second floor height? Second story height?
According to this drawing, it is 8 feet.
No, the total. So it's
Oh,
20,
Total
26
is
floor.
26.
26 feet 4 inches.
Thank you. The garage is an A. The landscaping, you're gonna do your best to keep the existing hydrangeas, correct?
Yeah, they need a
And
small
no-
trim, but we're going to keep them there.
And no other landscaping proposed besides what you have currently, correct?
Correct.
The chimney material is going to be white antique brick. Is that what I remember?
I don't know if it'll necessarily be white, but just an antique style brick.
Okay.
Nathan, did you have a preference on that?
I didn't have a preference on it.
I was kind of hoping it would be like a red antique style.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think red is a good choice as well. There's no pool for this property, correct?
There's an existing pool.
Oh, there is an existing. But no changes to it.
No changes.
And the foundation is remaining the existing slab foundation, correct?
Yes.
And the railing we said was stainless steel. Okay. Can you take me back to the front elevation?
Sure. The drawing or the colored one?
Well, let's note here, is the door that you have, the front door, as we shall call it, is that the solid now, or is it's a panel door, if I remember from the pictures, correct?
Right now we have a 9-panel a door with 9 glass panels on it.
Okay,
And we're looking to either do a full wood door as shown here, or something where we have a couple glass panels on the top.
okay. I would say, in looking at the style and the overall, the way you have the windows laid out with the 2/2s, I would say, if I were to err on the side of caution, I would go with what you have on this drawing
Okay.
versus a solid panel, because I think the solid panel is going to create that not sure what it is door that we were talking about in the work session.
Yeah.
So I think, I think in order to keep consistent with the rest of the windows and the look of the front, I think you have to have some sort of window in the door. So if you were to go one way or the other, I believe that door that you're showing there is more characteristic of what you're trying to accomplish and,
Right.
and keeping in characteristic with the remaining windows that you have in the project.
Yeah, we like this door quite a bit.
Okay. And I do agree. I think that the gooseneck over it gives it purpose,
Yep.
since you're not going to put an overhang over this door. Now, the only other question that I had was, from my knowledge of doing what I do know that now any glass around a stairwell has to be code compliant. So should you have to change the existing front windows, those large windows on the first floor, are you going to look to keep them in the same style?
Yes.
Okay.
The only ones that would have to change is maybe the one in the left corner. The two to the left of the door wouldn't have to change.
Okay, so yeah, so you're going to try to keep that in the same style as what you have existing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, do any other board members have, let me just go around the thing. Marge, do you have any questions for this project?
No, I don't.
Dorothy, do you have any questions for this project?
No.
Donna, do you have any questions for this project?
No, I don't.
Mike, do you have any questions for this project?
I do not.
Okay, and I apologize, I forgot to mention in the first agenda, Ron Villano is our consulting architect for the board tonight. He is a non-voting member, but he does have input and guides us when it comes to licensed architectural matters. So Ron, do you have any questions or concerns for this project?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this project?
No, we don't have anybody for this project.
Okay, so I'm gonna open it to the public, and seeing that we have no one for this project.
We have someone, Sarah McKinley would like to voice her support.
Okay, so I'm gonna open to the public for this project.
All right, Nathan, can you stop the screen sharing so I can bring her in? Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, thank you so much. Sarah McKinley, we own the property Caddy Corner from 14 Broadview. We're in 27 Broadview Avenue. And my family, myself, my mother before me, and my grandmother before me have lived on Broadview Avenue for 60 years. My grandparents going way back and being friends. And so I know Leland and Nate quite well and their family, and we are eager, all of us in our family and on the block, to keep them in the community. And we think that this project is very much in keeping with the character of both their house and the block and the neighborhood. And we particularly appreciate the attention to detail in referencing kind of the original nature of the house. Teal, for example, was Leland's grandmother's favorite color and was prominent in the original design of the house. So it goes back generationally and complements the character of the history of the block, but also updates it and makes it relevant and modern. So I'm very excited to see this moving forward. As you know as well as I, it's been in the works for a long time. And I just wanted to voice my support, and I know others on the block second that, as well, as we've all been talking about it quite a lot and are excited to see it move forward. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak on this project tonight?
Oh, there's no one else.
Okay, seeing no further comments from the public, I close this portion of the hearing to the public. And I will open it up to the board members if any other board members have any further questions for this project. Seeing none, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this project as presented to us tonight. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay. Seeing no nays, this project is approved.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you guys, have a good night.
Bye. Thank you for your time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate what you guys do for the village.
Okay. Switching out paperwork again, and our next project is going to be 8 Wyandotte Lane.
I'm going to make the announcement one more time because it looks like a couple of people are in the attendees that weren't in there before. You must use the chat feature or the question and answer feature now to be let in for public comment. Because we almost just met somebody who wanted to let us know at the last minute that they wanted to comment at public comment. So you must use the chat feature or the question and answer feature right now to let me know if you would like to speak during public comment on this application. If you do not do so, you will not be permitted to speak. Thank you.
What's going on?
Oh, we go.
Okey doke.
Here we go.
There we go.
So, oh, Matt's there, sorry. My screen switched around and I didn't see you. All right, so this project is 8 Wyandotte Lane. Wyandotte Lane LLC, 8 Wyandotte Lane, Bellport, New York, seeks to construct a new 3,244 square foot, 2-story, single-family dwelling with detached 495 square foot garage. The siding will be natural white cedar shingle. The roof will be natural red cedar shingle. The trim will be white AZAC, and the windows will be Anderson double hung casement and awning. This property is located in an A residence district of the Suffolk County tax map as indicated in the public notice. All right, so we have Matt Pethram representing this project tonight, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Matthew Pethram, Inspired Design Group for 8 Wyandotte Lane. Mary Lou, do I have the ability to share screen?
Yes, you do, Matt.
Thank you. Matt, are you okay if I share the screen?
Yep, go for it.
Thank you.
And Matthew, if you would go ahead and just give us an overview of the project that we reviewed at the work session. Let us know if there are any changes since the work session, please.
Okay, can everyone see the floor plans?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm just going to scroll down. So this is the house, just so we know. It's a four bedroom, 3.5 bath. First floor has a office guest ensuite, dining room, foyer, kitchen area, living room, and sunroom. The second floor has 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, a sitting area, and a stair, and a terrace out of the master bedroom. There's no changes on the floor plans as proposed and was presented at the work session. The front elevations, the front and rear elevations, as Matt said, this can be red cedar shake for the roof, white cedar shake for the walls, white AZAC trim, railings throughout. No changes there on the front elevation. On the rear elevation, we made a couple corrections to the windows. So they're 2/2 sashes throughout. We have casement windows and a door on the sunroom area. So there's a vertical, so it's a 2 split. So that's the only variation you'll notice in the window grill pattern. No other changes were made to that location. This is the right side elevation. Again, there was a couple corrections made to the window sash design. We also lowered, just pull this up. We also adjusted this area. You can see the circle on there. We pulled the window back up so it's a higher box bay instead of going down. Did a little dental detail under it. Try to give it a little bit more pizzazz on that side. So the only corrections or changes made over there were for the windows. The left side elevation, just a couple corrections again, which for the window grills. Otherwise, everything's the same. Red cedar shake, white cedar walls, AZAC trim, stone chimney, casement windows over in the sunroom area, 12 by 12 column, single column at the front entrance. That's there. The detached garage, at the board's suggestion, we looked at the garage doors and we went to more of a carriage style with the small windows above, almost awning style looking size, just to kind of pizzazz up the front a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. We looked into, at the board's suggestion, alternative roof solutions. Unfortunately, with the zoning and the max height of 15 feet, there's really no alternative without going for variances for, a taller roof or a different size structure. to make that work. Let me just see if I have the site plan. Second. This is the site plan. So we met with some of the residents, neighbors in the area to go over the plans. They seem to be okay with the aesthetic of the house. We went over site and landscaping to see if there's anything we can do because there is some concern from the neighbors. So with that meeting, what we did is we made a couple slight changes. The plantings on this side of the property, which we had as an evergreen, green giant sort of plant, we've changed to skip laurels at their request. We've also put in larger trees in the back, and then we'll have the fence behind it. We're trying to help mediate any kind of sound or anything that would come off the pool into the adjacent properties. Otherwise, this plan is pretty much the same. We're showing our river birch tree outside of our windows. When you come in the house, you have this really nice view through the house out the door, at the window. We have a 6-foot fence. We have skip laurels running down the property on this side. We have a 6-foot privet bush across the front area, so really shield it. And then again, the whole design and idea behind this house and shape for massing is to give the house in this front area this small appeal. Let me just clean this up. I'm getting a lot of stuff on here. Is to have this small area in the front as you're pulling up, and then try to make the house wider as it goes back, so that when you're coming to the street, you're pulling up, the house has a smaller appeal on the street, and the larger part of the house is set back. Also with the driveway lining of trees, that it'll really reduce the impact, if any, on the street or curbside, anybody walking by. We did meet with the neighbors and go over landscaping, aesthetic, and design. They requested if we could take a look at the size of the structure. We did. We took a look. We don't feel there's any way to really reduce it significantly to make an impact because of the amount of rooms in the market for what we're looking to do here. Pulling a foot, that's possible, but when you're talking a foot, you're talking 100 square feet total on a project or a house this size. To remove any more, we're just affecting the value of the project. We have the variance approval for this project. For the setbacks, we did not require a lot coverage or area variance for the size of the house, rather just setbacks to the property lines. I'll bring this up. This is some of the photos and aerials of some of the adjacent properties. So this is 1 Wyandotte Lane, just to give you an idea of size of properties and the scale of houses. This is another shot of 1 Wyandotte Lane at the corner off of Brewster. This is 3 Wyandotte Lane, which is sort of like a flag lot as it sets back. It's very similar house size. The massing of the house itself is very similar to the house that we're designing, with the addition of our detached garage outside of that area. His garage is attached to include that similar area. This is 4 Wyandotte Lane across the street from that residence. This is 6 Wyandotte Lane, which is to the south of us. So you'll see a lot of these houses are close to the property line, are similar in size. And this is a house that we designed and built on North Howells. Very similar layout, similar siding material. So we wanted to show this to the board because it's the same roofing, it's the same siding and trim, just so you have a better idea of what this really will look like built. We're really happy with how this house came out. It's gonna be very, very similar to this house. Matt, if the board has any questions.
Okay, so I'm just gonna run through to make sure I have everything correct. So the roof is gonna be red cedar, correct?
Correct.
Siding is white cedar.
Correct.
Trim is white AZAC.
Yes.
The windows are now all 2/2, right?
With the exception of the sunroom windows, those will just be a split panel for the larger casement windows.
And that goes with the doors as well.
Correct.
Okay. The driveway is gravel.
Correct.
What is the walkway made of, Matt?
Bluestone on grade.
And that's fine. There are no, the porch railing is, I call it the porch, but the second floor landing railing is what?
That'll be an AZAC or a poly material finished in white as well.
And it's white?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, you know what, Matt? I think I missed the gunite in-ground swimming pool. It's concrete, gray finish, and bluestone coping.
Yep, not there yet, but good. So, gray gunite. And you said bluestone coping?
Yes, sir.
There's not really any cupolas. There's the tower, but it's not really a cupola, right?
Correct.
I wouldn't call it that. There are no skylights, correct, Matt?
Correct.
The garage, do you know what the garage height is, Matt?
Yes, I believe it's 14'6". 14'6".
And what's the second story height of the home?
Let's see, we're 32, about 30 feet max height for the ridge.
And the fences are going to be what material?
There'll be wood fences, decorative Bellport style solid fence, 6 foot in the appropriate areas behind the home. And then those will all be covered in plantings, both sides.
Okay. And then landscaping as per the plan that you presented to us, right?
Correct.
The foundation, the exposed
Concrete gray.
foundation is going to be, is it going to be painted?
No, it'll be a natural concrete gray. We'll have plantings throughout the foundation, so there'll be cover throughout a majority of the foundation.
Okay. Matt, on this drawing that you have in front of us right now, on the second story, just above the windows, what is that detail? Is that like you see what I'm saying? Yeah. What is that
Yes.
detail right there just above the windows?
So it's a upper frieze board above the windows, and there'll be a dental detail.
And you're carrying that throughout the whole project, correct? It's on the front as well?
Correct.
And the back?
There isn't a reverse on the back, so it's the right side, it's the left side,
Right.
and I believe it's the front side. The front side, and then the similar detail will exist under the bay, the square boxed bay windows. So you'll notice.
Okay, and then you're not repeating that detail at the garage, are you?
No.
Can you give me the garage view again, please?
Sure.
What are the garage doors made of, Matt?
They'll most likely be a wood finished white. There was some consideration to maybe a poly white, but I think we're leaning towards wood or an AZAC, a more sustainable material.
And you're going to keep it to this design that you have here, like the carriage door, right?
Yes, carriage style, windows above.
Okay. Marge, do you have any questions for this project?
Just a couple of comments. I think the garage doors look terrific with that change. And the other comment is, it makes our job easier when you speak with the neighbors. It's great to get the neighbors' input, what they like, what they're opposed to, and that you work with them is really, it's a compliment to you. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Dorothy, do you have any comments or questions?
No.
Donna, any comments or questions?
No.
Mike, any comments or questions?
No, thank you.
Ron, anything from an architectural standpoint that we need to be aware of?
I drove by the property yesterday. It fits the massing of the some of the neighboring homes, and it seems to be suitable for the village on that block.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I drove the property last weekend as well. And I also looked on the aerial views. And it does seem to be that many of those homes, as Matt stated in his presentation, they do reach the limits of their property lines or very close to it. So I think it will fit in nicely with that neighborhood. And clearly we've seen a version of this on the north side of town that they've done, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I think it will be a great addition to the neighborhood. And that is that. So at this point, I'm going to open it to the public. I do have one letter for this project that I need to read into the record. So Matt, can you take us off screen share so I can get the rest of the team in view?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So this letter is dated October 22nd. It's addressed to Marge Crowley, the chairperson of the Village of Bellport Architectural Review Board, 29 Bellport Lane, Bellport, New York, 11713, regarding the October 22nd, 2020 public hearing, Wyandotte Lane LLC, 8 Wyandotte Lane. Dear Ms. Crowley and members of the board, I own the property at 41 Browns Lane, which backs up to 8 Wyandotte, and I am opposed to the size of the house plan for that property. My house is approximately 1,725 square feet. The 3,244 square foot proposed for 8 Wyandotte, which is being built on speculation, is almost double the size of my house on a similar sized lot. Built as planned, it will be the largest house in the subdivision on the smallest lot and totally out of place size-wise. I would ask the board to take this into consideration in making their determination. Yours truly, Mary W. Carlson. So we'll put that in as part of the record. And then do we have anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this project?
Yes, we do. I'm going to bring in Linda Margolin to speak in front of you guys. Give me 2 seconds.
Hi, Linda, are you with us? Hi, Linda, can you hear us? Linda, we can see you on the screen, your name. If you could do your video button and your sound button.
Looks like she's unmuted. Because when I go over to it, tries to say that I can mute her, and I keep asking to start her video, but it doesn't seem to be working. And I don't have anybody else to speak, Matt, so I'm going to try to take her out and put her back in. Let's see if that works.
Okay.
That doesn't seem to be, oh, there it goes. Linda, can you hear us?
We got it coming in a second way, I think.
Don't know if this is her or not, but let's see. Linda, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, it looks like you signed in twice. That was the problem.
Well, it wasn't working on my computer, so I'm on my cell phone.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay, we can hear you now.
So
Okay.
Linda, if you would state your full name and what your address, and then make whatever comment that you would like us to address.
I would, but my question is, will I be able to see all of the board members when I'm speaking?
We're all up on the screen right now. If you have video on your phone, you can turn your video on and you should be able to see us.
Yeah, okay.
Linda, if
I'm-
you're on your phone, you'll only be able to see one person at a time. There is no feature to see the whole
Right.
board on the phone.
All right, I'll do my best. It's hard talking to people you can't see. My name is Linda Margolin. The firm is Margolin Basunder, LLP, 3750 South Service Road, Islandia, New York. I'm here on behalf of two of the neighbors, the Walls, who live in in part of this development and front on Browns Lane, and the Parkers, who are the lot immediately to the, I guess to the, if you were looking at 8 Wyandotte Lane, they have the lot immediate to the left. My first question is a question with respect to the applicant. I have reason to believe that the applicant is not the owner of the property, but the applicant has indicated on the application that they do own the property. So that's my first question is the applicant indeed already the owner of this property? We'd like some clarification because the owner hasn't signed the application as far as we know. This is, we're not here on behalf of the neighbors to talk about the finished details of the construction. I'm here to speak to the Architectural Review Board about two things. One is you require a showing of detailed planting. When there's a pool under the village code, there's supposed to be a 15-foot vegetated buffer on the side yards and the rear yard. This plan doesn't show any such buffer. And I don't think that it's actually ripe for the ARB's consideration until those details are provided. But mostly I'm here to talk about mass and scale. The charge of the Architectural Review Board is to speak to not only the details of the construction, but whether the mass and scale are harmonious, whether they relate properly to the lot, whether they relate properly and are harmonious with other lots in the neighborhood. And while the massing of this house, which is unquestionably the largest house in this subdivision, may not be compared to some of those houses much larger, the massing of buildings on this lot, the house and the garage together, particularly when viewed from the Parker's lot, which has the elevation that occupies the most sky space, is significantly larger in relation to the space that it occupies than any of the other properties in the subdivision. All of the other properties in the subdivision have a house, and if they're a detached garage, that is considerably smaller in scale and mass as it relates to the total size of the property. We don't think that this is appropriate. When you hear the neighbors complaining about the size of the house and the size of the lot, they may not know how to couch that in the terms that the Architectural Review Board is supposed to consider. But I'm sure that you folks do because you're familiar with your standards. Mass and scale are an important factor here in deciding whether to approve this plan. And I don't hear an architect or the applicant suggesting to you that the mass and scale of this particular house and garage on this property are in any way harmonious or similar to what you're seeing on the other lots in the subdivision. They may say this house is not much bigger than the houses on the other lots in the subdivision, but most of the lots in this subdivision are substantially larger. And on the one that is not, the house is substantially smaller. So there's already a relationship in the neighborhood between the massing of the detached garage in the house and the size of the lot, and what the applicant is proposing to build here is substantially out of scale with those. So we don't think that this should be approved as it is. when we think that the applicant, assuming the applicant is the owner, which is a question I think they should address, should respond to this and come up with a way to reduce the massing of the combined garage and house. And I will say, particularly with respect to my clients, the Parkers, if you look at the elevation from their side, you will see that it is a bigger elevation than any other. The other thing that the applicant hasn't shared with the board is what does the elevation look like of the combined appearance of the garage and the house? Because the neighbors are going to see both. You're going to see, in profile, the house and the garage together. And I think if you look at it that way, it's quite substantial. I don't know if I can, say, but I do think that in order for this board to proceed at all, you need the applicant to confirm that the applicant is the owner. We have heard that the applicant is a contract vendee, and the contract is contingent upon the applicant getting the approvals and that the applicant has not closed title on this property. If you don't have an owner in front of you applying or having authorized the application, respectfully, you don't have any jurisdiction to proceed.
Thank you. Do you have anything else to comment?
No, I believe I've covered everything that I cared to say. Oh, yes, one more thing. I don't find anything on the plan that dimensions the dwelling. The garage was dimensioned as 21.6 feet by 23 feet. The calculation with respect to lot coverage claims that that amounts to 495 square feet. It actually is 496.8 square feet. While that doesn't cause them to exceed the lot coverage, it does make me wonder whether the calculations are correct. And yes, there is one more thing, excuse me, I did forget. Does the board have available to them the subdivision plat?
I don't know that we need the subdivision
Well,
plot.
I will tell you why, Mr. Bowles, I'm speaking about the subdivision plat. This subdivision plat indicates the building envelope on each lot by showing the setback that's required. And on this particular lot, there is a break in the contour of the lot line on, I guess it's the south side of the lot. There's a jog. Can you see it? And the restriction on the plat, on the subdivision plat, runs a setback line that starts at that jog, which according to this is excuse me, I'm trying to read this. I think it's 56.51 feet from the front line on the circle. And from that point, it runs straight across parallel to the rear lot line. As best we can tell, again, not enough information is on the plan. The house actually is closer to Wyandotte Lane than it's permitted to be under the subdivision plat. That's not a zoning issue. It's an issue of whether or not the subdivision plat restricted them from building so close to Wyandotte Lane. And I don't know if the applicant is prepared to address that, but we think that they're further forward than that line permits. Again, since they didn't replicate that line on their plan, we can't tell.
Okay, great. Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Okay, before we move forward, let me just put her back into the attendee list. And I would just like to address first, hold on 1 second, make sure everybody goes back. Okay, so I would just like to address one of Ms. Margolin's concerns was that the applicant is not the property owner. That is indeed correct. The applicant is a contract vendee for the property. But Ms. Margolin, you wouldn't have seen anything from the owner in this application because that document that we have a sign off from the owner was submitted with the building permit application, which is a separate and apart application from this architectural review board application. So I believe Mary Lou has that part of the building permit application at Village Hall, which, you know, should be available to you should you want to foil it, and she can provide that document to you. As contract vendee, they do have permission to be here tonight. So I want to alleviate any issue or procedural issue that may have been, brought up by Ms. Margolin in reference to that. So board, we do have the ability to proceed with this application on that point.
Anything else, Deirdre?
Nope, you guys can address
Okay.
other issues you think are
So
necessary.
I will give Matt the opportunity to respond to the comments that you heard from the public.
Thank you, Matt. Is it okay if I do a share screen again?
Sure.
Great, thank you. Bear with me for 1 second.
Matt, hold on just 1 second, Matt.
Sure.
Deirdre or Mary Lou, can you confirm that we have no other public comments before Matt addresses the public comments?
Yes, we have no further public comments.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, great. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm just going to bring back up the site. This part of the site over here is where Mr. Parker lives. That's one of the houses we showed you. His house is back over in this area, his garage. When we met with the residents, we met with Mr. Parker. We had actually evergreen plantings. We had green giants. We were intending on putting in larger planting to shield his part of the house. His entrance comes through here, so his side yard would have a view, towards our area. We told him that we would love to put taller plantings in here, give him privacy. He actually asked that we remove those and actually go with a smaller plant so that they did not grow tall. That was done at actually his request, not at ours. So to say that we're showing things that would be offensive, we are okay with putting taller plantings in. We did that at his request. We had no area variance for this. We only had setback variances. We were approved by the ZBA. We are consistent, same size, smaller and larger than houses on the subdivision. The houses all in the subdivision, there was 8 of 10 houses on the subdivision. 8 of those 10 homes were B zoned. Our request, just so the board's aware, was upzoned in 1993 to A zoning. So we asked for setbacks similar to the B zone. They were no less than the B zone. They were equal to or greater than. So our house complies with the area because our setbacks are equal to or larger setbacks than what the homes in the area have because they were allowed to meet the B zone setback. We meet the A zone for the lot area. We did not ask for relief for that where we could have asked for relief for that as well. So we're complying with the area. Everything's in nature, size and scale. As I said, again, we did the house small in the front, larger in the back for massing to try to make it so that when you're coming into this small area where it's going to be viewed, and of course, yes, you'll be able to see it, over the privets, but you have a 6-foot high privet. Your garage is set back significantly far on the property. When you're coming in, you're going to see this, and then as you come down, you'll see everything. But I don't think that any of those are viable issues on this project.
Okay, anything else, Matt?
No, if the board has any other questions.
Okay, so seeing no other comments from the public, I will close the public portion of the hearing, and I'll go back to, I will just address one item that was brought up, that there was no architect or anyone on the board indicating that they believed that the mass and scale was appropriate for the area. I would just note that once again, and for anyone who was not here at the beginning of the meeting, Ron Villano is our licensed architect. He is our consultant for the board. He advises us on these situations. And as he indicated in his portion of the commenting, he did not believe that the mass and scale was out of proportion with the other homes in the area. and on the properties. And Ron, if you could just confirm that I am not putting words in your mouth and that is what you did say.
You are correct, Matt.
Okay, and I also brought up, as a board member, I visited the site as well. I looked at overhead views, I looked at the properties in person, and I agreed with Ron's assessment that it would be in scale with the other homes in the area. So I believe we have looked at the massing and the scale of this particular project. We have had our licensed architect consult on that as well. So I believe we are okay to proceed. The only other comment that that I would, Mary Lou, can you just confirm the one of the public commenters stated that they have to have a 15-foot vegetative barrier? Is that correct?
10 foot.
10 foot. Okay. And
It
Matt,
is something that we look at on,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Mary Lou.
something that goes with the.
Mary Lou, you're cutting out at the end of whatever
Matt,
you're saying.
Her
It's part
internet is so great. I'll chime in. It's part of the building permit, which the pool is separate and apart from this application, and
We don't-
that's why it's not before this board.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so with that said, does anyone on the board have any additional comments or concerns? Matt, can you unshare so I can see the rest of the board, please?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Did anybody else, anybody on the board have any additional comments or concerns?
Matt, I have a question for Ms. Margola.
I don't think that, I don't think that we, Deirdre, he wants to ask a question of an audience member.
Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately.
the person who spoke in opposition, Ms.
Yes,
Margola.
yep, that was Ms. Margolin. Unfortunately, we, as a board, this is a public hearing and there's only public comment. So we listen to the public's comment and then we comment. We don't, there's no dialogue back and forth. So there's no, we can't ask her a question to answer.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, seeing none. Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve this project as presented to us. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Seeing no nays, this project is approved as presented. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Matt is also presenting 5 Cedar Bluff.
I'm sorry, again, Mary Lou?
Sorry, Mary Lou, I took him out. I'll put him back in.
Matt is also presenting 5 Cedar Bluff.
Okay. So the next project on our agenda is 5 Cedar Bluff Road. So Cedar Bluff LLC, 5 Cedar Bluff Road, Bellport, New York, seeks to demolish an existing 8,388 square foot, 2-story, single-family resident and construct a new 12,605 square foot, 2-story, single-family residence with a sunken tennis court in the front yard. The siding will be gray wood and gray white brick. The roofing will be EPDM material. The roof fascia and spandrels will be white sheet metal panels with a polyester finish with black metal flashings on top. The windows will be white aluminum clad, fixed double pane and awning casements, and the doors will be white aluminum clad with matching white finish. This property is located in an AA resident district as per the Suffolk County tax map as noted in the public notice. All right, Matt. So if you would just give us a quick overview of this project as you presented, any changes that we had between the work session and now. Unmute, Matt, you're muted.
Thank you, guys. Is it okay if I share the screen?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, guys. So again, Matt Pethram, Inspired Design Group for the applicant. I'm going to bring up some photos. So at the board's request, we went and did a little bit of additional research to look into photos of properties in the adjacent area. I can also forward this to the board if they would like to have it for the record. So this is a list of the properties that we looked at. 5 Cedar Bluff being the subject parcel, 8 Titus Lane, 14 Peat Hole Lane, 1 Peat Hole Lane, 12 Rainers Lane, 25 Oak Meadow Lane, 6 Point Road, 78 South Howells Point Road, 25 Thornhedge Road, 15 Peat Hole Lane, 12 Peat Hole Lane, 6 Peat Hole Lane, 21 Oak Meadow Lane, 25 Oak Meadow Lane, 9 Thornhedge Road, and 54 South Howells Road. So the first one, 5 Cedar Bluff. This is the subject lot outlined in red to give you an idea of the size of the property and location. This is the existing house that is being removed, proposed to be removed. Existing site again, just for reference. If I'm going too fast or slow, just let me know. There's 76 pages to go through, so I don't want to swamp you.
You're good.
Okay. Just more additional photos of the existing site. You see it's quite a large property at over 3 acres. This is the adjacent property to the east. This is 8 Titus Lane. So this is just to give you an idea of some of the adjacent homes. This is 14 Peat Hole Lane. So this is one of the homes. This is the home that the person currently actually lives in, the McLarens. Just to give you an idea of, input, what they put into the property. It's a beautiful, beautiful home they lived in for about 30 years. They've been in the village for about 40 years. This is 1 Peat Hole Lane. This is, for anyone that knows, this is Mr. Reed's home. This is what the home was really designed after. It's a modern home. This is 2 houses to the east, I'm sorry. This is what the client McLarens based their design of their home for, was off of this house. Some of the similar bricks, similar glazing. Just notice the door and window packages. Similar color of the brick with the whites and grays in it. The ins and outs, the push and pulls that we mimicked onto the new design and the design changes that we've made after the work session. This is just another waterfront home, just for example, for another modern home. This is 12 Rainers. This is a little further away, but we wanted to have some comparable waterfront as well as interior lots in the area. Just for precedent and to review. So I won't hang on these too long. This is 25 Oak Meadow Lane. This is just north of the property site. This is a modern home as well. You'll notice the similar siding materials, grays, horizontal woods, some of the walls that we used. Let's see if I can get my pen. So similar wall materials, siding, coping, decking. So there's a lot of elements that you'll see that we pulled off of the adjacent homes, similar door and window packages, again, the siding, coping, just to show you where we're bringing some of the materials. So, the materials that we're utilizing on this project or proposing are materials that are used in other homes throughout the village. This is another home not too far down the road, 6 Point Road, another non-traditional home in the area. Just to give you an idea of some of the other homes that are around to show consistency with what we're designing. This is 78 South Howells. It's one close to the water. This is the Copper House.
I hear you, Dorothy.
This is
Sorry. I hear you.
This is 25 Thornhedge Road. This is also non-traditional. So you see the whites and the modern materials, similar to the coping and banding. Also similar window styles that we've utilized on this project. 15 Peat Hole, also a non-traditional home. So some of the siding elements, you'll see the wall elements that we've utilized. This is 12 Pete Hall Lane. Don't worry, we're almost done. This is 12 Pete Hall Lane. Again, just showing similar houses in the area, non-traditional style, to show that there are quite a few homes that are non-traditional in the area, both on the water and integral to the site. Another adjacent home. This is 21 Oak Meadow Lane, another non-traditional home down the road. 28 Oak Meadow Lane. This is just north of the site as well. This is 9 Thornhedge. So we have the aerial for 9 Thornhedge. We do not have the updated site pictures. This house was finished about a year ago. We weren't able to get onto the site, but if anyone remembers, it's a very modern house, very non-traditional, very similar siding to what we're using. Different, similar materials to what we're using on the house, with the difference being that they have a sloped roof, not a flat roof to what we're doing. This was the prior home, which is a really nice home. So we didn't have the updated street for that. 54 South Howells, another newer home that was built. You can see it in the aerial, non-traditional. Again, we didn't have the updated ones for that. We couldn't get on site for those photos. I apologize. The next document we're going to show you is the materials of the home. The materials have stayed the same, but we'll just show you again. This is a copy of the brick, which is only on the integral wall element that goes from the front of the house through the house out the back of the house. Most of the siding will be the siding here. This is the upper coping detail, and this is the framing around the doors and windows. So as we go down, you'll see that it's Resawn Timber Company. It's 5 3/8 by 3 1/4 inch boards in random lengths. It's a mid-tone gray in color. The brick is a Peterson Tegel Columbia K91. It's 21 1/3 by 4 1/4 inches thick, with a mixture of grays and whites, similar to what we took off of Mr. Reed's home. This is the upper trim detail at the roof fascia. It's just in the fascia area. It's a dull white. So the first one we came before was more of a bright white, so we've dulled it up, try to get it closer to going to a duller or more gray. We've also changed the window and door trim to try to pull more in with the gray bricks and those tones, and the siding. So we've gone from the white to the Kinmar 500 anodized gray, as you can see in here. We also did an analysis for massing in the area. Just to let you guys know, we did not require any variances for this house for size, area, setbacks. There was a variance for the tennis court, not for setbacks, but for location of an accessory structure in a front yard and not the rear yard. This is 10 Pete Hole Lane. It's approximately 11,500 square feet. The lot area is 1.57 acres. This is 8 Titus Lane. This is the property immediately to the east. It's approximately 10,500 square feet with a lot area of approximately 2.45 acres. This is 99 South Howells Point Road. It's approximately 11,000 square feet, 2.56 acres. This is 15 Point Road. It's approximately 10,000 square feet, 1.5 acres for the lot. And then this is a list of the non-traditional style home precedents that we were looking at in the area. Again, I can submit this to the village, or Matt, if you want me to read this for the record, I can do that also.
I think it's good we have it recorded, but I would definitely want you to provide it to Mary Lou so she can make it part of the file.
Excellent. So the non-traditional style home precedents are 1 Pete Hole Lane, 15 Pete Hole Lane, 12 Pete Hole Lane, 6 Pete Hole Lane, 21 Oak Meadow Lane, 28 Oak Meadow Lane, 25 Oak Meadow Lane, 9 Thornhedge Road, 4 Gerard Street, 1 Gerard Street, 2 Gerard Street, 9 Baycrest Avenue, 54 South Howells Point Road, 78 South Howells Point Road, 12 Rainers Lane, 6 Point Road. These are just the homes in the immediate area around the house and on the water. This did not include some of the other homes that we showed in the first document for other modern homes in the village. Or non-traditional homes in the village. There's a significant amount of them, but we figured we're not going to take all night for you. The next that I'll show you is the updated renderings. This is the north view of the home. So this is the driveway coming into the site, fully landscaped interior and exterior. I'll bring it to the landscape plan now so you can see everything that we're proposing, but the property will be fully landscaped on the outside, so with a dense buffer so you can't see into the site. The only areas the house will be visible from are the driveway entrance, which is being relocated to the north end of the property, and from the water on the south side of the property, but not from any street will the home be visible. This is the south elevation, so you'll notice, lost my pen, the areas where we pulled these elements out further. We added a shading detail to have further projections. We pulled this band out even further. We did a cutout in this area to look at some of the different massing and get away from the linear feel that the board felt that we had at the first work session. You also noticed how we've changed the upper bands to a duller gray or duller white towards gray. We removed the black banding with a much lighter gray banding to complement the brick at this wall. This wall goes from the back of the house through the house and out the front. You'll see the bluestone patio areas and swimming pool. Again, you'll see some of the landscaping. This is the west side elevation. So again, same thing with the materials. We've gone over everything, lightened it up at the board's suggestion, increased planting throughout. You see that's fully vegetated. We've done some more push and pulls. We've played with some of the areas over here with some of the walls. You'll notice the soffit we've pulled out. We've adjusted the balcony over here. So we're really trying to juxtapose a lot of the elements so that it's, again, not as linear as the board had requested. This is a view, a rendering that we had done of the intersection of Otis and Cedar Bluff. So this is coming down Otis. This is heading back up Cedar Bluff. So this area is where all the Phragmites are. So we're working with our environmentalists and the DEC because there is a letter of non-jurisdiction on this property, and working with them, they're going to be allowing us to remove the Phragmites and install salt-tolerant plantings. We're working with AWS Walsley, who is going to be doing our plantings. And if you'll notice, we've done it so that you can just about see the upper roof line of the house. So we've actually geolocated the house on the photo and to show that there will be a very minimal view of the upper roof line detail once these plantings are installed. And over time, as they grow, this really will be gone. So again, these plantings will be selected and placed to maintain because they are of a salt-tolerant species. This is the updated landscape plan. So we have made some changes going back and forth with the board, and trying to show that we're limiting the view of the home from the site. We decided to remove the two entrances onto the site. So the original locations that are there now come through here and through here, and they enter the site. We're proposing to remove those and have one central entrance on the tightest lane as you first make your turn off of Cedar Bluff. You'll come onto the site. There'll be a turnaround area, gravel driveway, bluestone walkways as you come up to the home. You'll see where we've put the wall detail, which is in here. It sticks out of the home just a couple feet, and then we transfer over to a wire mesh deer fence that surrounds the front area, the tennis courts. It's all metal wire mesh, all zoning compliant, 4 feet in front of the house, 6 feet where allowed. We have the fence on this side of the property, which comes down 6 feet. Then we're allowed to go within 20 feet of the street edge. So any fence that's within that area closer than 20 feet will be set down to 4 feet to be zoning compliant. This area in the back is all the bluestone patio. We've relocated the swimming pool towards the west, where originally it was running east and west. Now it's running north and south. The entire back area will be a sloping lawn. The entire perimeter, as you'll notice, will be fully planted. Also, the interior will be fully planted. We're also proposing a vegetable garden in this area, a herb garden in this area. We've created a large buffer area at the street for the tennis court. And then this is the area of the existing plantings, which we are going to fully plant additional lower brush and new plants. The idea is to have a very full and dense kind of wall, but to make it look as natural as possible. So it's not like a privet hedge running this entire length of property, so that when you're coming up, the only view you really notice that there's really a site here is from the entrance on the northern property side. The labels on here point to all the different species, but I think it'd be a little bit easier if I just show you the list. So the evergreen screening trees will be a mix of Japanese cedar, arborvitae green giant, Japanese black pine, and Hollywood juniper. All the evergreen screening trees will be mature and spaced to create dense buffers at the street edge and along adjacent property lines. The dense buffer understory plantings, so these are all the plantings that we're going to install under the existing trees and new trees at the street edge. Those will be rose bay rhododendron, northern bayberry, arrowwood, viburnum, and summer sweet. All the dense buffer understory plantings will be mature and spaced to create a very dense buffer along that property line. The existing trees and plantings to remain at the perimeter of the site. We're trying to not remove anything unless it's dead, dying, or sick. We want to maintain as much as possible and then infill around those areas. The interior landscape trees will be a mixture of American beech, black cherry, thornless, honey locust, haka, river birch, Jeffers red maple, European hornbeam, sweet gum, and red oak. Again, the interior trees will all be mature specimens. The house perimeter plantings, so these are all the plantings at the base of the foundation and also in the beds around it. So that will spread out, in some areas 8, 10 or more feet. There'll be a mixture of double file viburnum, evergreen azalea, white rose, knockout rose, panicle hydrangea, inkberry, Carl Forster, feather reed grass, dwarf fountain grass. Again, mature species throughout. These next couple pages, which I'll just show you what the board has, is all these species called out and the images of those plants, so you can see for reference what they are. That's that. We have made some minor changes. We are removing the, you'll notice we removed the garden shed. So this was one of the things that we were discussing with the board and their concern on that the style didn't match. We were looking to plant around it. Going back and forth, we decided let's just remove it completely. So the shed has been removed. Matt, if you'll note, we removed the shed. The first floor area increased to 6,261 from the original 5,863. The second floor area has remained the same at 6,742. The proposed screen room is the same. The proposed outdoor shower is the same. The proposed bedroom terrace went from 475 to 561. Excuse me. The proposed master bedroom terrace went from 460 to 501. And the garden room that we're attaching to the house for the relocation removal of the shed is 280 square feet. Under these areas, we are actually have a lesser lot coverage, very minor but lesser than the original application that was before you. I'll just show the floor plans in case anybody is in the that's viewing that hasn't seen them, just for reference. This is the site plan. So this was the existing driveway. This is the existing driveway that we're removing, and then that will have a center driveway coming in. This is the approximately 700 square foot shed that we're removing. This is the new location of the home that we're proposing, and the swimming pool down here. These are our calculations for the revised lot areas or house areas. Minor changes, this area was added. This is the garden, kind of like a garden plant room. So this wall will be glass, so that all the plants will be kind of sitting out here. This is where like the wheelbarrow and soil will be for the vegetable garden that's in here and the herb garden that's placed over here. These walls were the ones that we pulled out over in this area. Just trying to think if I'm missing anything. Great changes. I think that's it. If the board has any questions.
Nope.
Matt, you're muted.
It's
Right,
a
Matt.
Matt thing, I guess.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to say thank you for taking all of the things that we had talked about in our previous work sessions and making those adjustments. I think we've come a long way from the original industrial sort of look that we started out with. And I think that you have made an effort to address all of the concerns that we brought up in our previous work sessions. So I commend you for that. Thank you also for going to the trouble of making the list of other homes in the area that were non-traditional and or modern, as we discussed in our previous work session. I do believe that you have shown with your presentation today that the style of this home is in keeping with the style of some of the homes in the neighborhood. And is not adversely affecting the overall look and character of the neighborhood or the village. So obviously 2 doors down, there's a house very, very similar to this. So I think the precedent is there that this style home can fit into the neighborhood. I do just want to go through some of the questions because you talk really fast and I can't write as fast, and it's not as simple as a normal home with all double hung windows. So I just got to go through this real quick.
Yes.
So the roof is going to be EPDM,
Correct.
and it is going to have solar panels, correct?
Yes. They will be flush and they will not be visible from the property or from the street.
Right, because you have a flat roof, correct?
Right.
The wood siding is going to be the charred wood look that you presented to us. Is that correct?
Correct.
The trim is going to be the stone slab. I'm calling it cream/white. You're calling it off-white/gray.
Yes, and that'll be for the upper coping band only.
Right, and then the windows and doors are going to be the anodized gray that you had shown us in the drawing.
Correct.
The driveway is gravel.
Correct.
The walkways are bluestone.
Correct.
The patio on the water side, is that also bluestone?
Yes.
Okay. There are no dormers to say for this home.
Correct.
There are no columns in this home.
There are columns, but they will be matching the siding in their areas. They're on the west side of the home, on the
West side
garage.
next to the garage, right? But they're more structural, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Than decorative.
Yeah.
Okay. Structural to match existing. The porches are going to be the railings around the porches are what, Matt?
Let me just pull back up that rendering so I can just show you what we have on there.
Is it a mix of glass and?
Pull this up so I can show you. Yeah, so if you'll see in here, there's a mix of glass. And then the parapet will actually be built up in some of the corners for structural integrity. But yes, it'll be a mixture of glass and that stone detail.
No cupolas.
Correct.
There are no skylights, correct?
There is a skylight, I'm sorry, over the main center area that'll have the same gray galvanized framing system that will be flush and not visible from the property.
Is it operable or is it fixed?
Fixed.
The garage is built into the home. What are the garage doors going to be? Are they glass, Matt?
Just pull back over. We can just take a look at them. They're a fog glass inset in a gray galvanized frame. So it'll be fog, so you'll see light, but you won't see what's inside.
Okay. And you already told us all the fencing is gonna be the wire mesh fencing at various heights, depending on where it is.
Correct.
What's the second story? What's the overall height of the home?
Just pull it up and just double check. The top of the roof is approximately 24 foot 2 inches above grade. The highest part of the home would be the chimney exempt, but that's 28 foot 10 under the 32 feet.
And what's the chimney material, Matt?
The chimney will be integral to the brick wall, so it's the same brick.
Are you calling it brick, Matt? Or yeah, it's brick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Another project in my head. And the pool is what, Matt?
Gunite gray finish with the bluestone coping and patio surround.
And there's no exposed foundation, correct? It's port slab?
There may be minor exposed, which would be gray. There is a partial foundation area, but no foundation will be viewable. All parts of the foundation will be covered in plantings.
Okay. All right. We've been through this one several times, so I think I have all my questions answered. So let me go around the board. Marge, do you have any questions or concerns for this project?
No, I don't.
Dorothy, do you have any questions or concerns for this project?
No.
Donna, any questions or concerns for this project?
No. I was just curious about the post in the back, in the rear, by the pool, the posts. What are they metal?
Pull it up so we can take a look at it.
So the rear elevation, Matt, near the hold up the
Yeah,
wall.
boxed out.
Yes, those will be metal columns, but their finish will be the same as the stone, so it'll be that dull white. I'm sorry, let me just close the door behind me. I had the dog barking. I don't know if you can hear it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No other questions?
Sorry, wife just got home.
No problem. So, so you answered Donna's questions. Mike, do you have any questions or concerns for this project?
Well, I have no questions.
Okay. Any comments or concerns?
Well, do I have concerns? Sure, but I'm looking at sections 21-151, and I don't know that any of them need to be raised.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what your concern
Well,
was.
I mean, obviously there are issues, but I have no questions regarding compliance with the applicable standard.
Okay. Ron, any questions or concerns for this project?
It's a large improvement from last time. All the changes made, it helps it to better suited fall into the landscapes around it. And also it's obvious they spent a lot of time designing this because they provided a lot of comparisons of houses that are very similar. Obviously it's not everyone's taste, but it does fit, especially given the comparisons that were provided here.
Okay, thank you. So Mary Lou, do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this project?
I think we do.
Yes, I will. I'm gonna let Mike Foster in first. He was the first one to state.
Matt, do you want me to leave the screen?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Hi, Mike, can you hear us? Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you would state your name and your address and give us your question or comment or concern.
sure. Mike Foster, 1 Baycrest Avenue and also 3 Titus Lane. So I am two of the neighbors here. lived in Bellport since 1976. Yeah, first of all, the last comment by, I think it was, I'm sorry that I don't know everybody's name. Is Ron the duty architect for tonight? Yeah. The last comment that it does fit, I think is, I don't have a problem with the style. There's a lot of, the slideshow was nice. It showed all the styles, the modern styles. But in terms of size, mass and scale, I think this appears to me to be way out of scale. It's without question, from my knowledge, the biggest house in the entire village. But for sure, it's the biggest house in our little neighborhood. I think it's probably almost 2 times the size of the immediate neighbors. And the immediate neighbors include the Reeds, whose house I love. It's a nice style. It's just like this. It's a modern style, but it's probably half the size of this house. I don't know the exact square footage, so it may not be double, but it's much smaller than this proposed house. And then you have Len, Stefanovich, Calendars, Weiser, and Thompson. We're all the neighbors. That's the neighbors. And this is way out of mass and way out of scale to any of our houses by, I would say, more than 2x. So I think it's not a style question necessarily. But I think for sure, my big problem is the mass and scale. And then in the neighborhood, for the neighborhood. And then because it's a waterfront property, I have a very big concern whenever there's a waterfront property that's going to be developed, the view for, I think the ARB, but certainly we all should take a look at how these houses appear and are viewed from the bay. I think the appearance from the bay is important. And I don't want to mention the biggest problem of appearance on the bay that we have in the last several years. I think everybody knows the one I'm talking about. But I do believe that the ARB should, and all of us should, consider the elevation and the view from the bay. And the mass and scale of this from the bay, I think, is going to be and will be pretty overbearing, to be kind about it. So my comments are, I think it really violates mass and scale for our neighborhood, and it violates mass and scale for waterfront property. And I'm not talking about lot coverage, Matt, at all. I don't know if Matt's still on, but I'm not talking about lot coverage. I know the formulas and how they work and so forth, but it's all about the way things appear, or as Matt said in the beginning, it's a lot about maintaining a harmonious, compatible, and balanced proposed construction in relation to the adjoining properties in the neighborhood. And I think this doesn't do that. I think it violates those criteria because it's just too big and it's too massive and it's just too imposing on the neighborhood. And I think that's really all I had. I do have can I ask a question? It is a clarifying question. It's not a trick question. Which of the streets is considered the front street here? And I know it's a corner lot, so that's a little more complicated question. And Mary Lou probably is the best person to answer this, but is Cedar Bluff considered the front, or is Titus considered the front where the driveway's coming in? I can't figure it out.
Titus is the front.
Oh, Titus is the front, even though their address is Cedar Bluff.
Even though their address is Cedar Bluff, Titus is the front.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, my question was just concerning the garages, the garage doors facing the front of the house, because I thought Cedar Bluff was the front, but the garage doors are actually facing the side of the house, a side street, the side.
Mike, this is a corner lot.
Right.
So in essence, you have 2 fronts and 2 sides. And
Got
so, you know, while technically Cedar Bluff is a front yard, the house faces Titus, so that's what we determine is the front yard.
Okay. Okay. It was just a clarifying thing. I didn't have any issues with anything on that related to that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Foster, for your comments.
Well, okay, thank you. I hope you guys take these seriously and take these into account when you ultimately make your decision. Thank you.
We shall, thank you. Deirdre, do we have anyone else in the public that would like to speak on this project?
Yes, I do. We're gonna bringing in Janet Foster now.
Oh, there I am. Oddly, we are in 2 different rooms in the same house. I'm Janet Foster, and as married to Michael, and as he just said, we live at 3 Titus Lane, which is directly across the street. And we also live at 1 Baycrest Avenue, which is very close. Again, am I allowed to ask a question?
You can just state your questions or concerns.
Okay, I'll state my question. My question is, we seem to be coming in very late in this ARB process. Were we not to be notified of any other meetings prior to this?
So again, you can state your question and we can answer it in when we have an opportunity to answer the
All
public
right, that's
question.
the first question. My second question is, in doing this, and then I have statements, in doing this whole study and the whole long list of all the plantings, has there been a sightline study done of the corner of Cedar Bluff and Titus? Spending my life on that street every single day, both of those streets, I can say that it is probably one of the most dangerous corners in town because people come screeching around it and it is 100% blind. So to look at all those quote unquote mature plantings being shoved into that corner gives me great concern for the safety in that neighborhood and on that corner. So that was the question. Is there a sightline study being done of the corner there? Cedar Bluff, Titus Lane, that corner. Now I have some statements to make. To clarify Mr. Pethrum's slideshow and discussions of the houses in town, the first thing I think everybody needs to know, and I know most of these faces and I know most of these people have been in the village as long as I have, to show the house at 10 Peat Hole as a comp for how you can over footprint a piece of property is incredible, because when the owners of that house in the early 90s sold off their front lot to the McLarens at that time, it caused such an uproar in the village that the entire neighborhood had its zoning changed so that that would never happen again, ever in the neighborhood. So to use that as a comp to show a precedent for having no land on a large house is outrageous. So I would suggest to Mr. Pethrum, he take that right off his presentation. The second thing is, all of the houses that were mentioned, I know every single one of them, and they are all contemporary houses. Most of them were built in the 60s when that subdivision went in, Oak Meadow, Girard, all of that in the late 60s and early 70s. Obviously, the houses that were built were contemporaries. But my question is there a point at which, as the Architectural Review Board, there is a balance between traditional and contemporary? And by showing all the contemporary houses in the community as a positive, shouldn't it be looked upon more as a balance? You get the sense by looking at your presentation that we have so many, we need more. Perhaps we don't need more. Just my observation. And my final observation, which Michael already brought up, using the Reed's house as a precedent and a comp is misleading because their house is probably a third of the size of this house. This house is unique in its size. It has to be the biggest house in the village of Bellport. I came to this meeting tonight being noticed for the first time because I've talked to people in the village who say, oh my gosh, they're building a motel in your neighborhood. I'm not sure I am dying to live in a neighborhood with a motel. Just saying. So that, the size of the house, the corner, the number of contemporary houses already in town. And I think the other thing is, as a neighbor, I obviously have the right to say something. Based on the last hearing, I'm not sure that the neighbors have any value and input to the Architecture Review Board. Because, I mean, those neighbors had lawyers and nobody listened to them. But as village residents, I think your priority should be for you and for the village, the way the waterfront looks. And everybody in the village, whether they live in that neighborhood or not, sees the waterfront. And I just think this is way too big. It'll be way too many lights. It'll stand out like the Titanic. And I think the entire waterfront should be considered, discussed, and some sort of plan be made so that we have a nice mix of modern and traditional and mid-century, and the whole history of Bellport should be represented on the waterfront. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Foster, for your comments. Do we have anyone else in the public audience?
No, that's all we have.
Okay, so seeing no other comments from the public, I will go ahead and revert back to Matthew. So you can address any of the questions or concerns that may have been brought up by the two public comments.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Foster, for coming out. Just
One affidavit.
What?
I'm sorry, Deirdre, what?
But that doesn't.
Deirdre, are you trying to communicate with us?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Matt.
all right. Again, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Foster, for coming out. Taking a look at the site plan, just to go over some of the ideas. So the house is set back on Titus Lane about from 177 feet to even further. I'm trying to find it, to over 200 and I'm trying to find the dimension. The house is significantly set back from the road on Titus. It's also set back significantly on Cedar Bluff. The surrounding, as we've talked about, will be densely vegetated. You will not be able to see this home from the streetscape. I can understand Mrs. Foster's concern on that corner. I've driven a lot. The plantings we are proposing are not street side of the existing plantings, but we would, of course, sit with the building department during construction. And if we can go through like a street line or a line of sight, we would definitely move the plantings back, make it safer. It does have a turn where you go there, and it is a little hard to see. So clients would be more than willing to work with that and adjust that corner of plantings. To size and massing, the house is 24 foot 2 inches tall, not counting the chimney. It's shorter than the existing house. It's shorter than really most any 2-story home because it is a flat roof. Going back to the size and scale of the adjacent properties, I understand what Mrs. Foster said with, I guess the properties were divided to where the McLarens live now. So 10 Pete Hall originally had a larger piece of property, but the property was subdivided, and as it exists, it is 11,500 square feet on 1.57 acres. So its property is about half the size of our property, with a house that's it's similar in size. Us being 13,000, this is 11,500. I'll just read these again. It's 8 Titus Lane, 10,500 at 2.45 acres, 99 South Howells Point Road, 11,000, 2.56 acres, 15 Point Road, 10,000 square feet, an acre and a half. So if you double an acre and a half, that's 20,000 square feet. Looking at everything else that we have on the list, We had no variances required for this property. We could actually make the house significantly larger, not that that's needed, but we're significantly under what's allowed. The front door, Mary Lou, correct me if I'm wrong, front door is based on your front yard. Your primary front yard is based on where your front door is on the property, so I could just clarify that. There are two fronts, front being Titus, which is your primary, your secondary being Cedar Bluff, so that's why the fences can be taller in that area because it's not your primary front yard. Trying to see if there's anything I missed. Again, if we can do anything with the village, we can meet them after this during construction. If there is some sightline issues, because it is a little hard turn when you go down there. We drive down there a lot. We don't want to see anyone get hurt. And I know the client wouldn't want to either. I think that's it.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Matt. I just want to make one comment. And I appreciate you taking the time to put together the presentation that you did put together. And just as a point of clarification, we asked you as a board to give us the number and or representations of the non-traditional modern homes in the area. We did not necessarily ask you to give us the sizes of the homes and the acreages of the homes, but you went ahead and did that anyways, and I appreciate that for the effort you put into that. And to address the concern of this house being out of size and scale, while it may be the largest property in the neighborhood, I'm sorry, the largest home in the neighborhood, it is also the largest property in the neighborhood. There are very few homes in that neighborhood that have 3+ acres of land to deal with. So I believe for the size of the property and the relationship of the size of the property and the size of the home, I believe they are in size and scale. They do match. When you have a larger piece of property, you're most likely going to have a larger home or a larger lot coverage. And as you stated in your presentation, you are not anywhere near your lot coverage, and you're underneath, significantly under what you would be allowed to build should you want to build bigger. So I just wanted to address that yes, it may be one of the largest homes, but it is also one of the largest properties. And then I just do want to clarify too, Matt, you did send out the appropriate notices and you have provided those, or you will be providing those to Mary Lou, the green cards?
They have been provided to Mary Lou. She has them on file.
Okay, thank you. So I have no other, I'm sorry. Since we have no other public comments, I will close the public portion. Yeah, Matt.
Can I just, there were some slight changes in the area. Do you want me to just reread those to you so you have them for the record? Or for previous, was that okay?
The area of the home?
Yes, the area of the home and some of the surrounding elements. I don't know if you wanted that again for the record for note taking, or if this was good enough for what we said in the beginning.
No, you're good. If you addressed it before in the previous in your presentation, and it is recorded, so we have it.
Okay, great. Sorry.
Okay, so seeing that we have no other public comment, I will close the public portion of this hearing, and I will move back to the board. Marge, do you have any questions or comments for this project?
My question is, this house is so large and this piece of property, nobody knew they were building it down there? I mean, I find that was, kind of like all of a sudden, nobody shows up at the work session, nobody virtually except for the Fosters came tonight, but yet the whole neighborhood's, very concerned about this house. I found that interesting, but no, I have no comments other than that.
Thank you. Dorothy, do you have any questions or comments?
Is this the largest house in all of Bellport? Is it going to be the largest one in all of Bellport?
I believe from my understanding that it will be, yes.
And I guess, I have to say, I didn't think I would ever agree with Mr. Foster on anything. However, it is huge. And I think that the changes that were made help the large mass look better. Mm-hmm. But thinking of the view from the water that has already been disturbed, I really have to think for a second how I'll vote on it.
If I could point out to you, Dorothy, real quick, the width of the house or length of the house on the property that's there now is pretty much exactly the same as the existing one. So your width is not changing. So what you're looking at from the water, if anything, it's shorter. but it's not getting any wider. It's depth. So your view from the water has not changed in what you're seeing, just so you're aware.
Well, and Matt, also correct me if I may be wrong. You're going to be adding plantings down around the water that reduces the visibility from the water to that more narrow sight line that you show in your landscape plan.
Significantly, yes.
Okay. So in taking into consideration the view from the waterfront, you will see less of the property from the waterfront now because of the plantings that you're doing and the removal of the poison ivy and phragmites that are existing there now, and putting in a substantially different and improved plantings.
Correct.
Okay. Dorothy, anything else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, thank you.
Donna, any questions or comments or concerns?
No, but that was helpful, Matt, for you to explain that the width of the house is similar to what's there. Because it looks like it's so long. Okay. No other comments.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks,
let's
Donna.
take a look. It looks like the new house is about maybe 20 feet wider on the west side, but that'll be fully planted and blocked. So just so you're aware. So I won't say it's identical, but it's about 20 feet wide.
20 feet on the west side.
On the west side, and that's the area that's fully landscaped, planted. So just so you're aware. I don't want to say it's a deck.
That is a deck, right, on that over there? What is that?
It's the screen room over there.
Right, right.
Any other questions, Donna?
No.
Mike, any questions or comments or concerns?
No questions. I mean, obviously, you'd have to be, if the question is, do I have concerns? The answer would be sure. But I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Ron, any questions or concerns from an architectural standpoint?
Just that I did review these plans heavily, and again, somebody might not like it preference wise, but the width of the house is pretty close the same. The height is shorter. More plantings are going to block it along that one property line from the water. How many modern houses do you see along the waterfront? So many. Such a preference, personal. So no additional comments. I think it's suitable for the lot. It's a large lot. If someone else is allowed to build a lot, building on their lot according to allowable size, why shouldn't this property owner be allowed to do the same?
Okay.
I want to be clear. The mere fact that I have concerns doesn't mean I'm against the project. The question is, do I have any concerns? Yeah, I have concerns, but that doesn't mean I'm against the project.
Yeah, Mike, you're absolutely right. No one's saying that you are for or against it. We have not voted yet. So if you have a question or concern that Matt can answer or address, then that's what this time is for.
Understood.
Okay. So Ron, were you all set?
Yes, and that wasn't directed towards anybody specifically, just in general. I do this a lot. I present before so many boards, and I see everybody make it personal. I'm like, it's not it can't be made personal. That's another discussion we can have after the meeting.
We learned that.
Thanks, Ron. So then I just want to make one other comment. The comment was made that it doesn't appear as though the board listens to the audience or the people. We do listen very carefully. We do take a lot of time to review these in multiple work sessions, some of them. So we, all of us individually and as a group, spend a great deal of time reviewing these plans on our own time. We do listen to comments and concerns, and we try to do our best to balance out what we believe is the best for the village as a whole. As you will probably find, there are 5 of us on the board and we all have a different opinion, but in the end we have to come down to what we can as a group agree on as the best for the village and for this neighborhood. So if there are no other comments or concerns, I will go ahead and make a motion. Okay, seeing none. Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve this project as noted with the changes and additions that Matt has presented to us tonight that differed from our work sessions. Do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay.
Nay.
One opposed. So let's do a roll call. Marge, yay or nay?
Yay.
Donna, yay or nay?
Yay.
I'm sorry, was that yay? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Dorothy, you were a nay?
Yes, I'm a
That's
nay. I don't think that's taking something personally. I think that we have an obligation to vote the way we feel is correct.
Thank you.
Right.
Mike, yay or nay?
Yay.
So that is yes for Mike, and I vote yay. So that would be 4 yays and 1 nay. With that said, this project is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Mary Lou, do we
Thank you
have
all.
anything else on the agenda?
She left us.
Mary Lou?
No, I didn't. I'm here. I'm here.
Do we have
I just-
anything on the agenda or anything that we need to address?
No, I just want to let you know that you will have a work session on November 12th and a public meeting on November 18th because it's next month, your normal meeting would fall on Thanksgiving. And as we always do, we move it to the Wednesday the week prior. Okay, so I will have 3 applications. I will send everybody emails tomorrow. And that's all I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Oh, motion to close. I need a motion.
Oh, sorry. I make a motion to close the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, meeting is closed. Thank you, Mary Lou. Sorry about that.
Bye.